Amir, can you make yourself host, change from being you host? All right, thank you. All right. Hi, everyone. We are going to be starting in about 10 minutes. And so today we are going to be working on using what you called clothes pegs, I think, and popsicle sticks. So those are the two things we'll work with today. We will be going live in just on 5 minutes. Well, in 5 minutes, I will be opening up my class. I hope to see you all then. I've been able to wait you now the chat. Um, Unmute. Right. Welcome everyone to Get Set Up. My name is Sue Murray. I am going to be your guide today, and I'm going to be showing you different things you can do with your popsicle sticks and your clothes pegs that you use every day. Using the wooden ones are the best for what I'm going to be doing. I'm hoping we have a class of about 4 or 5 that are due to come into class. I'm not sure whether they are or not. Ah, there we go. Tony has come in. We take the hi, welcome Tony to my class. Lovely to have you. Hi, Tony. Nearly there. It's connecting slowly. Welcome to class. It's going. Ah, there we go. Tony, whereabouts are you from? Oh, can you unmute? Either press the space bar down to talk. Ah, there we go.
Tamarack, Florida.
Ah, Florida, right. So what is time in Florida now?
It's about either 2 after 12 or 3 after 12 now.
Goodness me, so you're up late because it's midday for us. We are midday of Tuesday because I come from Perth, Australia. So so I'm on the other side of the world to you altogether. Lovely to have you in class. I'm delighted that you stayed up so late to be able to see it. I hope you enjoy what we're going to be doing. There are others to join us, but whether they come in or not, I'm not sure. So I'm going to go straight into sharing my screen and let's see what we can make today. Right, let's share it and let's turn it into a PowerPoint. Come on, talk nicely. Doesn't want, there we go. Right, today we're going to do simple creations using pegs, which I think you use a different word to what we use. You use clothes something, but pegs they are for me, and popsicle sticks we just call them sucker sticks. So you have got so it's people are a bit worried as to what on earth I'm going to be building with. So we're using your popsicle sticks and we are using sucker sticks and pegs, and you can get all of these things from your dollar shop. You can get multicolor ones and all different designs and shapes, so it's really nice that you can put them together. So let's have a look and see. With Get Set Up, we are helping to learn useful skills and you can do wonderful things. And we learn from each other. So don't turn your microphone off, rather interact. And if you've got a question, ask the question there and then as to what you want to know. You can request a recording after the class. And today we are live streaming. So there will be people watching from their armchairs. Normally they click in and out and see what's on. And if they like it, they will stay and watch. And Get Set Up is, I don't promote any particular thing. If I happen to use something, it's what I use. But we certainly don't get a kickback from it. So now a little bit, I forgot to put a little bit about me into here. Doesn't matter. Our introduction today, I come from Perth, Australia. I've been an educator for 44 years now, and I still love to give people information that they can work with. My favorite time of teaching was when I taught a topic called technology, and that's not IT. It was teaching children how things work. How does this work? How do we make it work? How can we launch a rocket? How can we do things like that? And for me, I did from the little ones right up to high school. And those were the happiest years of my life, were teaching those subjects. So this is why I'm so passionate about creating from waste, upcycling, coming up with ideas to stimulate young minds. So today we're not only going to use pegs and sucker sticks for children, there are also a lot of lovely ideas for adults as well. So we'll start with the young children, the children, and then build up to us. The only things you really need are scissors, your glue or glue guns, sucker sticks, popsicle sticks, pegs, crayons or markers, and Google Eyes are always very useful as well. Now, my first thing that I'm going to be making as part of our agenda is to make a very simple, whoopsie, I see my agenda A has disappeared into the next line. That's quite interesting. It wasn't like that on my page before. I have just used an old box. This is a little small for children. Rather, a lid of a shoebox would be ideal. And all you do is take your popsicle sticks and put them in any kind of pattern that you would like to put them in. And then at the end, you make a little hole where your ball can come out. Then I've got a very small ball for this one, but you can use a marble usually, or let me just take a bigger ball than the one I've got at the moment. There's a pink one that will be visible. I've just taken a bead, and I use the bead inside here. You can pop it in at any stage, and then you wiggle it around until you can get it to come out. But you can also set them tasks where you say to them, I want you to get the ball to here, or I want you to get the ball to here. And then they've got to wiggle around until they get the ball to the point that you've asked them to get it to. So it's not only to get it out through the hole at the bottom, it's also a way of getting them to have some fun. But this is a very, very simple maze, easy to make using your popsicle sticks. Pop my thing there. Right, some of the ideas we're going to use today are under the sea, insects, animals, space, engineering projects I'm going to do, and then advanced creations are the things for us. Now, under the sea. Under the sea is our first theme. Children often choose, I want to be a mermaid, I want to be a shark, I want to be a whatever. So if they are into under the sea, there are some lovely creations you can make. The first one is you cut a single shape, and then you cut the shape in half, and you attach it to your peg simply like that right at the end. Now, that makes a big opening mouth. So it's really, hi Marlene, lovely to have you. A big opening mouth that you have. And all you do is by adding a Google eye, it comes alive. And again, it's very simple, very easy to do. Now, if you move your fish right up to the end of the peg, if you take it off this part of the peg and you put it right at the end of the peg, you get to the third picture there, the big blue picture. All that is the same fish, but just made a flatter, more fatter fish. And again, just attached it to your peg, but you attach nearer the end so that all you can see is just the little tail piece sticking out where the fingers can go. And so you can then make really interesting features, and the children chase each other with their fish, and they have a lot of fun using their fish. So you can make fish, you can make sharks, you can make any creature you want. You can even make an octopus with little legs hanging off. The sky's the limit. You can also take your sucker sticks and just put them together across each other to make a fish as well, going this way and going that way. It makes an interesting fish. That is simple and easy for younger children. You can also make a mermaid. You can get the pegs that have got like a head on the top, and then you would put the tail on. Unfortunately, I've left mine behind me in a box. But you can make those very easily, and they can decorate them if they're a girl and they want to be a mermaid and have a whole mermaid collection. Again, painting, just you can use a paintbrush. I find a paintbrush not so useful with children. I use a sponge a lot. You just put the paint on the sponge and you sponge it on. It gives a texture. It doesn't leave streaky lines, and it makes it more interesting for any of the painting that you do. Any questions? Any queries? Not a anything that you want to say, Tony?
I haven't did this when I was since I was in the Cub Scouts when I was
That's
really,
it.
really young.
Yes. Yes. I was in scouting for many, many years. Both my boys did scouting, and was in scouting for probably about 20 years altogether with scouts. Yes,
Wow, that's a
definitely.
long time. Many,
Uh,
many moons ago.
Many moons ago. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, miniature creations the children can make. You can make them, or the children can make them. They can be very simple, they can be more complicated. You can use pegs to make them. By joining your pegs together, you can make your table. This is just half a table, but that shows you that you can make your table, and then they can make chairs to go around the table using pegs. You can use your popsicle sticks to make beds, to make tables, chairs, and if you want to make a double bunk bed, then you would use toothpicks to make the ladders, toothpicks and skewers. So you would use the longer skewer for the length of your ladder, and then toothpicks to make the smaller ones. And then, or even matchsticks would be another one you could use as well to make your ladder for your double bunk. Using your popsicle sticks cut very easily with a pair of scissors. If by any chance sometimes they shatter a little, you can always just glue them back together again. Making beds is an awesome one to do as well. Beds, chairs, and so on. And you can even make an outdoor little garden with a fence up the side. And then you put a little seating arrangement and your table, and make some little pot plants to go with it, putting them inside lids of containers. Using what you have around, children can create amazing things. They can make swings and slides and seesaws and have such fun. And then they can take their dolls or their LOLs, because LOLs are popular. They can use their LOLs for that as well. Any thoughts? Hi, Naomi. Nice to have you in class too. Right. Now, insects. All children are interested in insects, whether they have a dislike or a like for them, it depends, but you have your insects. You can make simple butterflies just with your popsicle sticks by sticking. I've used two popsicle sticks. In fact, they were ice cream sticks that we had used, and a pig, and you can make yourself a lovely butterfly and then just put some eyes on the end. You can put baby Google eyes. You get some really small ones. You can put those on the end. They can paint them different colors and they become something really interesting that the children like to use. If you put your wings on the back end instead of on the front end where I have, you can then use your peg to peg things. And then you've got your dragonfly or butterfly. This is more a dragonfly. Is then able to be used to peg up different things. So all you do is you take those wings that you had there, you would attach your wings at the back, and then you can still open and close your peg, and it is able to be used. So there are different ways that you can do it. You can put paper into your peg and turn it into beautiful butterflies using, they can either paint the paper themselves, they can make paper themselves, and then use that to do their butterfly wings as well. Sticky paper that you've done for the school books, little scraps of that make wonderful wings as well. So there's all sorts that you can put together. You can use different bits of paper on other papers to make brightly colored wings. And then you can make lovely little creatures. The, the back of the creature is entirely up to you. If you want to make a ladybug, then your ladybug would need to have some spotted wings. And so you could make spotted wings for your ladybug to go on the back and have a black front and a few pipe cleaners. Pipe cleaners work wonders. And again, two tiny little Google eyes at the front suddenly bring your creature to life. So you've got a gorgeous little creature sitting on your peg. There are two ways of making snakes. The first way is to join pegs in different designs and shapes. You can move them around. You can make them bigger, smaller design, up, down design, all sorts of different designs, and then put the front on, and then you can actually make your snake move. So your snake, whoopsie, moves in and out. I just unpegged my snake. Lovely to see you, Naomi. They've unpegged the snake, and the other way is to just join your popsicle sticks together. They can draw designs on with their cookies and make very pretty. They can even put some glitter onto it. Now, just a thought on glitter. If you're working with glitter, we inevitably end up with glitter everywhere, and that's not the best idea. So a very good way is to take a Ziploc bag, put the glitter inside the Ziploc bag, take your sucker stick or whatever, put the glue that you want onto the stick, put the stick into the plastic bag, shake it up and down, take out your sucker stick, and you haven't got glitter all over the countryside. And that I found to be the best way. Your glitter glues only have a little bit of glitter in them. They also work. But if you're wanting concentrated glitter, definitely in a bag, give it a shake, and then it will work. If you have got you want to make a spider, you would again take your peg and attach pipe cleaners wherever you want. You can draw on the pipe cleaners to make them different colors, and then you can make a spider that's bright orange, bright green. We've got large brown ones where we live. Fortunately, they don't come in that often, but my husband, he saw one this size, came over the wall when he was gardening. I've never seen him backpedal so fast in my life. He got a great fright from these legs and then body that came over the wall. But they are awesome. So yes, they are wonderful little creatures, big creatures you can use and make with any age of children, because they upscale it or downscale it according to their age. The younger ones would make something very simple. But the older ones would very definitely then put themselves into the making a more intricate animal or creature. Any questions? Not yet? Okay. Right. Now, transport. We can have such fun with your popsicle sticks and your peg. Very simple. One peg, two popsicle sticks to make a biplane. Put a little tail on with bits of popsicle stick. I've used 2 beads at the bottom to make the wheels, and then you can paint it and decorate it according to what you want. Or you paint each piece first and then reassemble it the way you want. What I do is I get the grandchildren to put it together with press stick first, just so that they can see that the pieces all fit together. Then they paint them and then they put it all back together again. And they have these wonderful planes that can fly, and they have fun and games with that. You can also use a toilet roll and your pegs. And this is just the top of a deodorant lid. And that is the top of my space rocket. And then they can decorate their space rocket according. And there you've got a very simple space rocket to be able to take off. Again, pegs are used in so many different ways. You can make a helicopter using popsicle sticks and just one of those eggs that you get fancy, you get a little toy in them. Using that, it can create a wonderful helicopter. And if you make your hole in the top if you make a hole in your popsicle sticks carefully and you put a little screw into it, then it'll be able to go round and round. It'll screw up and it'll screw down the little screw. It won't go for too long, but it certainly allows it to go. And they can come up with their own ways of making it turn. Older children love that challenge. They then come up with ways to make the thing now work. So they've not only created it, they've now made it work as well. Simple things to do, make a raft. How? I don't know, maybe you have, but when I lived in Africa, when it rained, the water would run in quite big little rivulets down the roads. And we used to float leaves down the road, particularly if there was a hill. We would then follow, or it doesn't even need to be a hill, as long as the water was running, the leaves would go. Then you would put twigs. Now you can make popsicle boats and let the popsicle boat go down the river, and you can see whose popsicle boat goes faster. So whenever it rains, the children go out and play with their boats made out of popsicle sticks. Simple, easy to make, but fun to use afterwards. So it's not just made and left. They can float them in the bath. They can float them on a tub. They can float them if there's a little lake nearby. They can float them on that. So there are many, many ways they can float their boats. For the older children, you can certainly set them a task to create a vehicle that moves using lids as your wheels or whatever else they can think of, and create a popsicle stick or a peg vehicle. Now, little ones would create where's my vehicle? A very simple vehicle where you would take a straw and put the straw through the top part and put another straw deep into there as the back. And then using a skewer, you would take the skewer and put the skewer on. They could either put a button on to make the wheels. Wheels can have a button. Oh, maybe I should have gone from the other end. You've got a button. Find where you need to cut it off and attach another one. And then the wheel will be able to go and your wheel will work. And then they've got their little car that they've made just using a toothpick, a skewer, a straw and a button or I've got plenty of bottle tops. You can use your bottle tops. I have all sizes, all shapes. So they can then decide what they want to use to make the wheels of their little car. So the sky is the limit as to what you can create. Making these lovely ideas is a wonderful thing to be able to do. Any questions? Any ideas? Tony, just press your space bar and then you can talk. If you hold on your space bar, then you can talk and it mutes straight away afterwards. There we go.
We good now?
Yep, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. Do you ever work with paper mache?
Yes, but children nowadays, they live in the digital world, the instant world. I want something, it
Exactly.
must work now. We used to take time making paper mache creatures and things like that. If you've got a long time and you're going to make it into a few day project, yes, wonderful to use paper mache. But nowadays, I find that my grandchildren, it's I want to see it work now. I want to see what I'm doing. They like instant gratification. They when we were young, we had to look up information in a book, and it would take time to look up the information to find the information. Now they take the
Yes,
phone and go, Siri,
yes,
what is this?
yes.
And it's there. So they are
So
used to
quick.
instantly getting what they want, which is a bit of a problem at times when they want something and this is where the difference comes.
Mhm.
Any questions, Naomi? Anything you'd like to say?
Yes,
No,
I have an idea.
Please. This is a learning time for all of us, including me. I've learned some amazing things during my classes.
Yeah, my grandkids love to use Jenga
Yes,
games.
Jenga blocks. Mm.
Yeah. So I decided to cut some 2x4s into 5 inches each.
Right,
And
right.
I allowed them to paint the Jenga, paint
Hmm. The
paint the
blocks.
2x4s, the blocks, and they use them all the time to do different things. They
Absolutely.
play Jenga, they build different structures, and
Yes.
it's just a good time.
It is. It's wonderful. That is an
Yes.
awesome thing to do. And the fact that they painted them, they become theirs. They become their special thing that they've done. Um,
Yes.
and so, yes, Jenga, you'll actually see possibly something that could be like Jenga a little bit further on when we talk about structures. We do a little bit of structures today. I actually have a whole class on structures, things that children can build and make and do. That starts next month. It's already ready and will be launched next month. But yes, thank you so
Yes.
much, Naomi. That's a lovely idea.
Thank you.
Now, fun ideas that you can do. You can build a bird feeder, two different sorts, one with a little roof on it and one without a roof on it, and a sucker stick sticking out or a popsicle stick sticking out so they can stand on that, land on there, and then go in and have something to eat. Making a jigsaw puzzle, a very different form of jigsaw puzzle is to take your sticks, put them all next to each other. Well, what I did was I turned my paper upside down and then put glue on the paper and then put the sticks right next to each other so that they fitted very closely next to each other. I let that dry. Then taking a craft knife, I just slit between each stick. Now you've got a jigsaw puzzle to put together in a different form. So
Nice.
it was, they thoroughly enjoy it. Even the older children find it fun because it's different. It's not your normal jigsaw puzzle. It's a piece peace puzzle. And they really enjoy putting it together. Young ones and older ones find it a lot of fun putting those together like that. And so that's a lovely thing. Also, taking just four of your sticks, sticking them together, and then putting a picture into that. Now, in one of my Boredom Busters classes, the children sort pictures. And then they can choose one of those pictures and put it in a frame to take home. And then they can bring it back and swap the picture if they want to. They can take it for a week, and next time they come, they bring it back and they swap it for another picture that they want from the collection of pictures, and off they go with a new picture each time. So it's a living picture frame that can be used.
Nice.
And then at the top are just different types of sailing boats that they can sail with, all different sorts. So giving them just some of their popsicle sticks, you tell them your vehicle has to be able to float across the bath, or it has to be able to, and now they create, and then you can say, you need to be able to get inside it. Now, the first two of them, they just have to sit on top. Now you've given them a further thing. You've said to them, you've got to be able to sit inside it. Now they've got to come up with a different thing. You can put a Lego person in, you can put an LOL doll in, you can put whatever you want. You can show them at the beginning. You're going to say, this has to be able to sit inside your boat. Now they've got to come up with a different creation. And so you can do it in two different times. One day you can say you've got to be able to sit on it. The next time you've got to be able to sit in it, and so on. Or how can you change your boat that you've made where you're sitting on into a boat where you're sitting in? And again, they can now recreate and do all sorts of things with it. So it's a lot of fun to be able to do that with them. Often I will build with them. It depends. If they're on their own, then I often build with them, because otherwise they kind of lose momentum, or if it doesn't work first time, they get a little despondent. But if they see me building with them, then they are very happy to come up with and say, oh, you know what, Granny, that's not going to work. You need to do this. Or I start something and I say, I don't know how to finish it. Can you help me? What do you think I should do? And then they come up with all sorts of ideas how to finish my creation. So my creation is not necessarily my own in the end. It's often a collaboration of them and myself. Because otherwise they think, oh, she knows, she's done it for so many years, she'll have a better one than me. While if you ask them for help, then it becomes a more interesting thing for them.
Nice.
Or you share your ideas with them and see if they can choose to use them or not use them. All right. Now, this is an engineering project. This is something you can certainly do there. Your Jenga blocks are, Naomi. They can certainly be used with it. What I gave my granddaughter, I gave her some of these paper, I call them paper fasteners, but I'm not quite sure what people call them. These ones that open up flat like that, and you click on them and it opens. You put the thing inside, put something inside it, and then you can click it closed.
Yes.
So I gave her some of those. I gave her some popsicle sticks, and I gave her some pegs. And the first thing she said was, can I have some glue? And I said, nothing. Those are your only things that you've got.
Oh.
And what I'm asking you to do is to build a structure that can hold a weight. So this was somebody else's choice of what they did. They used some pegs, they used some blocks, and they saw different ways. They just laid the popsicle sticks on top. And another one did it when it went across, and the third one did it that it crossed over like that.
Nice.
Then here is my granddaughter building with me. Mine were the two on your left-hand side. I did the crisscross, and I stood it on a double peg because I believed that if I put two pegs together, that made it even stronger. And I clicked them together. And she was very impressed that I could stand some books and her computer on top of my creation.
Oh, wow.
She built the flat creation, which was just pieces going across. And she decided she wanted long legs. And oh dear, the long legs kept collapsing. And oh, it's not going to work. So I said, well, what have I used? So she sort of looked across at me, and then she chose to make her own version of that. And at first, she put on, she got it to stand. Then she put some soda water and tonic water bottles on top of it, and they stood. Now she's getting excited. And finally, she actually ended up with 15 big books on top of her creation, and it didn't collapse at all. And then
Nice.
this was it. She was really happy. She had finally built something for herself and it stayed up. And so she was over the moon with that.
Overjoyed. Yes.
Absolutely. But had I not been building with her, she would have given up. She would have said it doesn't work and she would have wanted to go and play on her iPad. But because I was there also building, also trying to make a structure, that made all the difference. When she's
Yes.
with my step grandchildren, they all build. And I've got ages from like 4 years old up to 12 years old. And they all, some boys, some girls, and then the little ones build their version. The older ones have a challenge with their version. And it's amazing what they create
It
just
is.
using your popsicle sticks, your pegs, and your paper fasteners. So you can really create an amazing array of things. Now, me time. It's the section I call me time. This is for adults. This is our adult time. So there are a lot of things that you can create with your popsicle sticks and or your pegs or both, and a few beads or buttons in between. The top one is made with two popsicle sticks stuck together and a thread passed through them with a bead in between each one. And so it can get at the top. So it gets wider at the top than it is at the bottom. And I just put a piece of cardboard or, in fact, I think I found the biggest lid I could find. And I used a lid as my base. And then I built a similar one to this one. Mine wasn't quite the same. Mine I did with colored sticks. You can also make your placemats like this. So you've got a placemat, but it goes all the way around. I've only got half the placemat together here at the moment. These pegs you can join together either with your glue gun, but I actually found that glue gun didn't work as well as one of these all-purpose glues that you can get. And it was less likely, when I'm working with children, I don't use the glue gun. I use glue because these glues are really good. If I'm working on my own, I will often use my glue gun, depending on what I'm making. You can make a clock using pegs. What an attractive clock that is. And all it is pegs. So really you can build amazing things. You can also, with your popsicle sticks, build a container to put your plants into. I have a design for that, which I give you afterwards. Well, similar to that. You could, it's the start of that, and then you can just do your own version afterwards. And then to go around a mirror, popsicle sticks just on top of each other, more and more popsicle sticks getting going behind your first row of popsicle sticks. So you attach your first row of popsicle sticks, turn it upside down, and then attach your next row underneath the first row and the row after that. And you can make it as big as you want or as small as you like. The popsicles, if you are going to make one with popsicle sticks and beads like the picture here on your left, You have to be careful with making the hole in the popsicle stick because they are thin and they can break. So you have to find either a very, very, very thin drill bit and drill little holes in it. That works the best. Or take a very fine nail, one of those very, very thin nails, almost, I don't know what I used to call them. They're very, very thin nails. Hold that and just hit it gently. And because it's so thin, it goes through. And then you can put your thread through after. You don't need it to be big because you are threading all the time. So it only has to be as wide as your thread. But it's a lovely way of doing it. Bigger beads at the top and smaller beads in the center, as the middle, and then they join at the bottom with glue. So it makes a really attractive placemat. Now, just a few new ideas. If you take a half moon, whoops, pitch my half moon again, 2 half moons with a peg in between, you can hold all your serviettes in that very comfortably indeed. If you've got to do party favors for grandchildren for going somewhere, or even in their lunchbox once in a while, take a Ziploc bag and put things in either side of the Ziploc bag. So you put some grapes on one side and some little biscuits on the other side, and then take the peg and just separate the two halves. You can put some pipe cleaners on top, some little Google eyes, and they've got a butterfly. What a lovely way of eating their lunch. Eat it from the butterfly. And then you can keep your butterfly and just change your Ziploc bags whenever needed. But
No.
that makes for a really interesting way of doing something different for them. If you're having some friends for dinner or tea, or just you want to make something, your tray look pretty, take a few flowers, peg them together with a very pretty peg that you've painted, and that makes for such a beautiful display on the table. It doesn't have to be big at all. In the center, just a piece of wood or board that's been cut and painted. You can paint it with blackboard paint so you can change your message in it, and then put pegs all the way around and you glue them on back to front so that the open side is still open, and you glue your peg onto the board from this side. And then just glue one of the sides, obviously, and then it opens up just enough to slide a photograph in. And you can then have your photos all the way around. A fun way of displaying them, easy to change. We have a very large family, so we're often getting pictures, digital pictures sent to us. I have photo frames all the way up my passageway, and I'm continually changing the photo frames because we've got from baby-sized children up to 20-year-old grandchildren. So there's a real variety of grandchildren there, and our own children, they change as well. And so we have those pictures, and we can then change as we want. You can use an old picture frame as well. An old picture frame is wonderful. All you do is drill a little hole into the picture frame and put some string through it. Take baby pegs, the small pegs, not the very big ones, the little pegs. And in fact, let me get some little pegs. Hold on. Right, baby pigs. My office is an interesting office. The kids love it. It's got everything in it. There are the baby pigs, just little ones. Very useful. You can peg up all sorts of things with baby pegs. A third of the size of a normal size peg. And then those you can use to peg up as well. So they're fun as an idea. You can also take an old coat hanger and turn it into any shape you want. This happens to be a heart, but you can make any shape you want and put your pegs around it, and it just turns it into something interesting. Just another new idea, a different idea. And lastly, this is what I give you to take home so that you can try it for yourself.
Beautiful.
Just taking your sucker sticks, popsicle sticks, you draw the design on a piece of paper and you do your first row of popsicle sticks. And then on top of that, do 1 or 2 rows, let them dry, just not for very long. And then you make it as deep as you want. You can make a single one to hang on the wall, or you can also make it adding on to the shape. So it makes it really interesting. Or you make a whole series of single ones and put them into each other. So there's a whole series of ways that you can use this hexagonal shape to make a really beautiful display on your walls. So that is just something, it doesn't have to be too wide. It could just be a blank wall somewhere that you're thinking, oh, what can I do with this wall? Here are some wonderful ideas, just using popsicle sticks. Any questions, any ideas? No, everybody's
Lovely.
quiet.
It's all
Oh,
lovely.
good. Well, I hope you're going to be able to use some of them yourself to do all with your grandchildren. Yes, Tony, you're live at the moment. You can talk.
Right now, I'm just speechless just by looking at all the things that you're showing.
Good. I'm glad because it means I'm setting your mind going as to what you can
Yes,
do now. That's the whole idea. The whole idea is to use things that we've got to make things interesting, not only for our grandchildren, but also for ourselves. And so that for me is my aim, and I'm hoping that I achieved my aim today with this.
Great.
So here, once we've got, I'm just going to, if you've got any new ideas that you'd like me to add to this one, or any comments or questions or anything you'd like to say, won't you put it into the feedback, which will come as a link on my email, which I will send to you now. On my email, I also give you that last slide as to how to make the one that goes on the wall. You also are able to get a recording if you would like at help@getsetup.io. Oh, some of my slides have changed slightly. I must double check this because they've really moved around. I've been redoing them and somehow something went a little awry here. But some of the other ones I do have are Boredom Busters for grandchildren, how to keep them busy, creating from waste with toilet rolls, simple science with grandchildren, cooking with grandma. That's just because I do the cooking, but grandpa also helps. And also now I've got building structures. That's a new one that's coming up. So I'm going to stop sharing now. Any questions, anything you'd like to say, anything you'd like to know?
Yes, Marcia would like to know what type
What
of
would
adhesive do you use?
I use? Just the Bostik all-purpose. I go and look at all the different ones, and this one, it all-purpose means that it sticks to wood, it sticks to plastic, it sticks to basically anything. So I find that the all-purpose one works perfectly for everything that I'm doing. There are specific ones for specific things, but when building with children, you don't really need the specific ones. And I find that this all-purpose works beautifully. And it lasts. It actually, I find it holds longer than the glue gun, which is unless I'm using my glue gun incorrectly. But all my life I found the glue gun works for certain things, but the glue works for everything. And it's not as messy and you're not likely to get burnt, which is what I often do.
Yes. Yes.
Burning is an option. Right. Anything else? Tony, anything you'd like to add?
No, I'm good.
Your mind is boggling.
Yes, yes.
Well, I hope you will come and join me for some of my other classes so that you will
Absolutely.
be able to see all the different things that we make and do in class. My classes at the moment are always this time and an hour before, but in April, my classes will move to an earlier time. I will be getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, so that, or 5 o'clock, so that 6 o'clock I will be into class. We are going to be doing earlier classes so that it helps with people in America. And of course, where I live, I'm 3 hours behind the eastern side of Australia. So and that's where most people live, on the east coast of Australia. I live in the only big city on the west coast, in Perth, which is a very beautiful little city as well. Really beautiful city.
Perth, Australia.
Mm-hmm. That's
Nice.
where I am. I am here.
Nice.
So
I'm way
lovely.
over here on the other side. I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Right. Yes, you are
Yes.
definitely on the opposite side of
Yes.
the world to me.
But you know what? I'm going to look on Google and look up and see that beautiful little city of Perth, Australia.
Oh, Perth is really a beautiful city. It
It's so
really is a
nice.
lovely city. And where I live just out of the city, in one of the suburbs. I have a little forest next to me where some of the animals live in the forest. I have a park in front of me. What more could I want? I mean,
Really? Just nature
yeah,
all right
just
there.
nature. And in Australia, the animals are free. So
Oh, yeah.
the kangaroos are around. The kangaroos live 50 meters from me. They
Oh,
will come and go as they want.
yeah.
I've got a little animal called a bandicoot. He comes to visit. If you're
Nice.
interested in the animals of Australia, I also do a talk on the animals of Australia and the animals of Africa. Just
Yes.
as interesting things, because I've got a great love of animals. Mm.
I do as well.
Oh, well, then come and join me for
Yes.
Animals of Australia and Africa.
Sue,
They
I'll
are
be looking for all of your videos
okay.
because what
Well,
I've
thank you.
seen is I'm loving it. This is nice.
Good. Well, I look forward to seeing both you and Tony again. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for being in class. And time for
Absolutely.
bed, Tony. Good night.
Good night. Good night, Sue.
Good
I hope
night.
you can go to sleep with your mind so busy. Have a lovely evening.
You
Bye.
too, man.